Okay, let's take a look at 17.1 work together. We're going to be doing a vertical analysis of a company called Tri-State Pipes corporate or comparative income statement that's going to be listed here. Make sure we round our percentage calculations to the nearest tenth of a percent. So notice that there are the current year listed here and then the prior year listed here. So we're going to be doing a vertical analysis of each of these. So remember that since net sales is always at the 100% when we're doing a vertical analysis, each of our amounts is going to be compared to that. So starting off here, we are going to do our cost of merchandise sold. So we're going to take the 321,000 and change and divide that by the 659,000, which is net sales. And when you do that, you should get a percentage of 48.7. So you can go ahead and add that in there. So I think that I'm going to do all of the current year first and then go back over and do the prior year. So again, for gross profit, we are going to take the 338,000 and then divide that by the 659. And again, we'll get a percentage of 51.3. So as we scroll down here, you're going to see all of your operating expenses. In comparison to the 659,000, some of our percentages are going to be quite small. Looks like the next one that they want us to do is our salary expense. So again, we're going to take this 92,194.99 and divide that by our net sales number of 659,000. And we end up with a percentage of 14.0. I think it's actually like 13.98, but when you round correctly, it should be 14. So then we scroll a little bit further and we come down, we have two more here. Our total operating expenses, which is 198,163. And again, we're going to divide that by our net sales number of 659. When we do that, we get a total, or a percentage, I should say, of 30.0. And our last one is our income from operations. Again, we're going to take that 140 and divide it by the 659 total for net sales, and we end up with 21.3%. So if we scroll down here, I think that's the last for our current year. And we're going to go back up to the top. Then we're going to do the same thing for the prior year. So notice that our cost of merchandise sold went up for the current year. So we're going to take this 301,843 and divide it by our net sales amount for the prior year of 642. And we end up with a percentage of 47.0. And then we're going to do the same thing for gross profit. Everything comes back to our net sales amount. So when you type that into your calculator, you should end up with 53.0. Scrolling down to our salary expense. Salary expense actually went down a little bit from 95 to 92. So we take that 95 divided by the 642, and we end up with 14.8. And then our last two again are the total operating expenses and income from operations. So again, we're just going to take each of those divided by our net sales total, and we wind up with 30.2 and 22.8%. So that should take care of our vertical analysis for both years. Notice that we do have two steps here. So if you go ahead and click on step 2, we're going to get brought over to comparing our percentages to our benchmarks where we wanted to be here. So what we're going to do is we have our completed vertical analysis up here, just what we had on the other page, completed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this table and kind of compare from one year to the other. So essentially here, what we're going to look at is our gross margin. So remember, gross margin is our gross profit divided by net sales. So for our current year, it was 51.3, and the prior year it was 53. So notice I'm just taking these from the gross profit percentage, 51.3 and 53 for the prior year. Okay. Did this happen to be a favorable trend? From the prior year, it was 53. It went to 51.3. Yes, that is a favorable trend for us. And is it within our target range? So they list what our acceptable benchmarks are for our gross profit. And it says here 50.4 in between that and 52. So yes, we are within a target range for our gross margin. Okay. So now we want to look at our operating expenses. That's that big long list here of all the expenses that we have. We're going to go all the way down to where we have our total operating expense. And we're going to look at this number, this 30%, and the 30.2. So if we look over here, we had started with 30, and we went to 30.2. So here what's happening is as our expenses are going down. So that is a good thing for us. So yes, we have a favorable trend here. However, if you look what our benchmarks are, we want to try to be between 27% and 29%. We are not. So this would be a no. We are not within our target range. And our last one is our operating margin. So if we look here, our operating margin is going to be our income from operations. Okay, we have 21.3 and 22.8. So we're going to put 21.3 and 22.8. Now, this is not such a good thing. You can see that our income went from being 22.8% down to 21.3%. That is not a favorable trend. Negative on that one. And are we within the target range? We just missed it by 0.1% this year. You can see 21.3. We want it to be at 21.4. So no, we are not within the target range. So that is not such a good thing. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. And you can see how up until this point in Accounting 1, we were just worried more so about making sure that we put an income statement together correctly. Now what you're looking at doing is how do we use that information to make informed decisions for our business. So that's what we're going to be looking at as we move forward here in Chapter 17. Okay, so that is the end of the work together. For this evening, what you need to make sure you finish is your 17.1 on your own, and that is the only thing that is due this evening.